Welcome, everybody, to the January 18th, 2023 regularly scheduled meeting for the Monterey Peninsula Airport Board of Directors. It is 10:51. And can we have a roll call, please? Here. Director Leffel?
Here.
Here. Here. Director Sani is ill and has an excused absence for today. Pledge of Allegiance. Let's go out into the well. Mark, can you help us with the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
You want to cheat sheet?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
There's a slight delay from Hawaii, but
Yeah.
but I was able to stay on track. It wasn't easy, but okay. Communications announcements. Any announcements or communications? Hearing none, we have no members. This is a time for public comment. Any member of the public, either in our audience, we don't have any, but in virtual world, if you can talk for 3 minutes. Does anybody wish to address the board at this time?
If so, please raise your hand.
If so, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, I'll close public comment. Seating of the chair. Unfortunately, our new chair is not here today. She's ill, but we can do this in absentia. The concern is that under our governance manual, we're pretty directed to do this at the first meeting of the year. So the recommendation is that we move forward and appoint, right?
That's correct, Mr. Chair. I did review the governance manual just this morning, and it is quite clear that it needs to occur at the first meeting in January. So despite the fact that Director Sani is not here, we should proceed in absentia and seat her as the chair, as that's what is directed by the governance manual.
I would request, though, that we table item number G, and I'll ask for a motion on that effect. This is appointments to boards and committee by the chair. This has always been the purview of the chair to do that with our approval.
Yeah, that would be appropriate to table that. That's just fine, but we're still up a couple of items as it relates to seating of the chair. That should happen at this meeting.
Okay. So should we table item number G first, and then
We'll get to that when we get to it. We're still on item number
E.
Yeah, let's deal with E first, and just for full compliance with the Brown Act, it should have a motion and a second and a vote
To do what?
to seat the chair, to have Director
So
Sani as the chair.
I moved that we, okay.
So we have a first and second, but if you could take just a moment, Director Leffel was the second, and Director Sabo was the motion was made by. But to explain for anybody that may be in the audience, this has already been predetermined. Can you talk briefly about the government code and how we select the chair and vice chair now?
Sure. So the governance manual that has been approved by the board has been, it was passed many years ago and most recently updated in December of 2022. It does call for the appointment of the chair. And also the appointment of a chair pro tem, or sometimes we call it vice chair. The chair is somewhat formulaic and automatic. The individual who serves as the chair pro tem, according to the governance manual, becomes the chair the next year. Director Sani was the chair pro tem last year. So accordingly, it is appropriate, according to the governance manual, that she be the chair for this year. I'm skipping ahead to the next item. As it relates to the chair pro tem, we did put in place a rotation. And I believe it was put in place that it would follow the numerical the by district election numbers. Director Sani was or is in area number 1. So it would follow that the next chair pro tem would be the director serving in district number 2.
And that is?
Director Sabo.
And director number 3 is who?
I believe that is Director Leffel.
That is correct.
And number 4 is
Myself.
Mr. Miller, and number 5 is Mr. Pick. And I will say this, I do recall when someone originally said, well, gee, that doesn't appear to be fair to Director Pick because he won't get to serve during his first term as chair. There was almost an immediate, no, that's okay, from Director Pick. So I did want to just let it be known that
It's all about the team.
that he thought that was more than fair.
Nothing precludes us from making special arrangements if somebody can't fulfill that role as chair. And I believe we have a stipulation in there that if your first year on the board, you will not serve as chair, you go into rotation after that point.
That is correct.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Director Pick,
Yes.
Director Mahon,
Yes,
Director Sabo,
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So no need to go over it again, but I will accept a motion to place.
I move that we select and appoint Director Sabo as our pro tem.
Second.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Director Pick,
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, let me think about this for a second. Yes.
Yes. Okay. At this time, I would like to step down as chair. It's been a fun year. I appreciate the work of staff. We've asked a lot of you. We've had a lot of challenges for this airport during this time. You've handled yourself tremendously. And I think we're in a real strong position. I actually think we're better off than when we started a year, and that's how any chairperson wants to start and end their term on a better note than when it began. So thank you for all members of the staff here that work every day to make this airport function and thrive. And then I'd also like to thank my fellow board members. You don't get a lot of money for sitting on this board, and we do ask a lot of you. You've kept yourself well versed. You've been involved and you've participated, and you bring passion and logic to most of our decisions, but I appreciate your effort and your work. And I certainly wish Director Sani all the best in her year, because if last year was busy, this next year is going to be busier. And I think it's going to increase that way until we get a lot of these projects done and move forward. So every year it's going to be more busier and involved than the last. Thank you.
I'd like to
And-
make a comment, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
In return, I want to thank you, Carl, for your leadership on the board. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the things that from a policy position that you take, but I do respect you're trying to manage the activities of this board in a very difficult environment with all the projects that we have to deal with, the number of items. And I think you've been fair. I, as one director, appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, well,
Chair, may I-
it's your ball of wax, right? I'm sorry, you had something?
I just want to echo what Bill just said.
Okay,
Thanks for your steady hand.
thank you.
Carl,
Okay.
I also want to thank you for your leadership and look forward to this year as we move forward.
Yeah, so do I. But thank you. Thank all of you. Bill, it's your ball of wax right now.
Oh, thanks. I'm not moving chairs. So
Okay,
if you want to move to the end, that's fine. But
okay, I'll just sit here for the time being.
yeah,
But here, I'll pass the ceremonial
Yeah, sure.
club to you.
thanks.
And the
Okay.
timer I never used.
We are, I have a question of staff before we proceed. And maybe I'm missing it, but we've been getting a lot of packages in the mail and all things. Where's the minutes for the Airport Property and Development Lease Committee meeting and the minutes of the Air Carrier Service? Where are they? Because I have a notice in the old packet that says to be determined, or they're coming, you know.
They are because of the and flooding.
And the flooding, you're gonna blame this on the flooding? Okay, good.
Certain staff members couldn't make it in.
Okay, I'm pulling your chain. Yeah. So we don't have minutes, is that right? Which requires in my administrative capacity to revise the agenda,
You going to get to the consent agenda?
if I ever get there, right?
It's going to ask you to recognize that they're not there and they will be in the next.
Oh, wonderful. All right, so moving along here, I think there was an initial suggestion by the previous chair that we suspend item G.
You need a motion?
Yeah.
No, just consensus to table that to the next meeting. As long as there's no objection, we can do that.
Okay, as chair, I'm suggesting that we table item G,
Agreed.
appointment of committees by the chair until the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Agreed.
Okay,
Sounds good.
all right. So be it. And somebody's gonna put that in the minutes, I guess. So,
So, Mr. Chair, in along that line, we will continue this month with the existing committee makeup.
that's my understanding until such time as the existing committee members are relieved by the new chairperson. Okay, if she ever
Hopefully.
recovers from her hives. Okay, so let's move on to the consent agenda action items. I am going to remove on the consent agenda, which is item H, I'm going to remove item 3. I'm going to remove item 4. Am I doing this? Am I covering everything here? Yeah, I will remove items H3 and H4.
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda H1, 2, and 5.
Okay,
Second,
Second, look,
all right, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all right, a call for a vote.
Yes.
we need to bring it out to the public.
Oh. Sorry, any member of the public who wants to weigh in on our agenda item H1, 2, and 5? Okay, hearing nothing, I'll call for the vote now.
Yes.
I cannot hear you, Denise. I guess every time Dino says something, I'll answer. Yes.
Watch out for the puppet strings.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We do not have any deferred consent agendas in as much as I removed some items, but they are not. How am I doing that, Scott? If I remove them, are they deferred?
But yeah, again, we can defer items by, if there, so long as there's no objection by any of the board members. And by the head nods, I'm seeing there's no objection since the minutes weren't there. But if
Okay.
any board member does object, certainly let us know now.
Yeah. Anybody concerned about item, even though there are sequencing of letters is out of sequence here. Item F, deferred consent agendas. Anybody want any those things I removed to be discussed? Moving on, regular agenda. Item I. Regular agenda item is adopt a resolution 1838, resolution authorizing and approving the service agreement between Monterey Peninsula Airport District and Elite Painting Company. Could you give us a little brief staff summary of this?
This is an agreement with a lead painting company to paint the terminal building. This is a project that is on the capital improvements program list and is in the budget. I'll let Chris Morello walk you through the particulars, and then we would ask you to just go ahead and say.
Thank you. So as approved in the capital improvement budget, we have project number 2023-07, the terminal building outside painting. As described in the budget, the last time the building was painted was in 2009. Regular painting to this building, especially a stucco building, is necessary to prevent the exterior from elements such as water, sun, water penetration, sun, wind, etc. And definitely with the rains we have seen some issues with some cracks that have created some water coming through. So I know that staff provided that evaluation, but it has come to fruition that we really do need to take care of the building to protect the infrastructure as well as the inside, make it safe for all of our tenants as well as our passengers. So we went out to, per the way we do business at the airport, we subscribe to the public contract code. We keep a list of vendors. Every year we go out to and notice that we are accepting vendors that want to do work at the airport and keep that list for all different disciplines. From that list, we go out and send RFPs or RFQs or information asking for quotes. We did that with this project for the terminal painting. We had 2 responses. 2 companies came out, did a complete site walk so that they understand the complexities of doing the building, especially from the air side. And as well as, our passenger flow on the terminal side, as well on the street side, just what they will be dealing with. Both companies did submit proposals. They were within $5,000 of each other. We did ask for reference checks because we have not done work with either of these companies. So we did get reference checks for both. And our recommendation, while both could do the work, is that Elite Painting, being slightly cheaper, did have extreme versed responses for reference checks, as well as they were extremely detailed in their response to how they will approach doing the painting. Is to enter into contract with Elite Painting Company for a not to exceed of $160,000. And that includes checking for damage to the stucco, patching it, painting it, priming it. So there's, a series of weeks for each of the activities to get to the painting with the 2 coats at the back end. It includes all of the facade, as well as the roll-up doors that we have both on the land side and the air side. And again, primer for all of that too. The capital budget had a project budget estimate of $325,000, so this is well under what the project budget was for this project. And again, we anticipate this could take up to about 3 months, given the timing in between. And if we continue with rains, the building will have to be dry before we can actually do the painting component of it. So it will take a series of time, not a consistent 3 months, just a week or two, then a break for a bit, and a week or two and a break for a bit, but up to about that much time. So with that, we ask that the board go with the staff recommendation and approve resolution 1838, the contract with a painting company. And we do have just one graphic we'll show you, and that is we've worked with design craft or with craft design builders, the craft company in the past on some other projects here. And we asked them also to give us a paint scheme for the building. And this scheme was used initially when we did the improvements to the outside of the Gate 1 courtyard that we have. So the Gate 1 courtyard has this paint color scheme, and then we'd like to continue it on with the rest of the building. So this is what the color schemes will be that we will use.
Can I ask you what you just said, clarify? I see 3 colors up there.
Correct.
And you want to continue what we did down in the other area down there. What?
Gate 1.
I
of the
don't remember
courtyard.
a blue thing down there.
The dark, the cyber color, that dark, it's more of like a dark black, almost black, but it is a very, very dark blue, is on the walls. We painted the
Oh, it
brick
is?
wall down there, that color. And then the walls on the left, as you come out, are painted in that taupe color. We did not use the lighter color in that area because we really just had 2 sections to paint, but we did use that color scheme in purchasing the furniture. as
Okay, so
well.
these lines here that come down off color swatches are
Sure.
the suggestions as to how
Where
we're
the
going to
color.
paint this.
Mhm. Where the color, so that dark color will be along the top edge, for example. The prime color is that middle color of the taupe, and then the lighter color as well too. So it's kind of a combination of the 3 being used in different areas.
Okay. Questions from the board members? Mary Ann, are you on?
I am.
Oh, good.
I support this. I think it's overdue. And no matter what happens with the new terminal, this building will be in existence in some shape or form. So I think it's important that we do whatever we can to preserve it.
Chair?
Mr. Dino.
Chair, I'll just make a motion that we adopt resolution
I'm just
1838.
asking if there are questions to the board members, right?
No, I understand. I'm making a motion that we adopt the resolution.
It's a little out of order. I just want to give everybody else a chance to ask questions before we.
They can ask questions. There can be discussion after the motion.
I'll
Okay.
second the motion.
All right.
There you go.
All right. So do you have any questions, I guess? Okay, Carl?
The the contracted price is again,
Not to exceed $160,000. Again, it's a little, a not to exceed because we don't know exactly how much paint we'll use. We've estimated to the best of our ability.
still pretty good. I mean, considering we looked at this at 300,000 and what I'm paying to have paint my house right now, that's what I reference my whole life to, is what I spend on things. That's a pretty good price. But it could go higher if they find something that demands, that just may not be available, might not be visible right now, correct?
We believe that we have covered everything in here. So again, it is right now a not to exceed of $160,000.
Great price. Yeah, I'm in favor of this. All I have.
What is the warranty on this paint job?
Warranty on paint?
Yeah, I mean, if they paint it today and 6 months from now, we got leaks. Or 6 years from now, we have leaks. Are they, is the painting contractor obligated to do some repair work?
Would not be typical, director, if the repair work were required because of their full performance, yes, they would come back.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. If what they did or the paint, the materials they used weren't adequate to keep us from having leaks or deterioration, are they obligated to stand behind their work? That's my understanding of a warranty.
We would certainly work with them. If what you're hypothesizing does come through, we would certainly work with them. to ask them.
Is that in the agreement? That they warranty their work?
I'm not seeing it here, but we will work with them. Again, this is the cost estimate at this time. We'll put together the contract and put that in it.
Scott, did you review this contract?
I have not seen the contract. I'm looking at the cost estimate. But when the contract is finalized, we'll, with them, I'll make sure it's in there. I suspect we're gonna utilize the standardized contract. And the standardized contract does have warranty language in it.
And who's standardized? Is that our standardized contract?
Your standardized contract. that
And
I-
what's the term of that standardized contract warranty?
It isn't a fixed term. It is a warranty of good workmanship. So we'll define that in the contract and make sure that it's in there.
Okay. So in any event, I can support the motion. I raised some questions in our finance committee meeting about why we were painting the terminal if in fact we're going to demolish it, which is one of the suggestions that I've read here. And then there was some other considerations that were brought to my attention that we may use this for other purposes, may use them for other purposes. And pending the use of the building for other purposes, I conceded that it probably made sense to not let the building deteriorate. So I therefore can support it. But I think that we absolutely, before we sign this contract, that we ask for assured that we have a warranty for the work. Okay, so if there are no members of the public that would like to comment on this, I don't see anybody other than, oh, I see members of the public. Anybody from the public like to weigh in on this proposal?
Please use the right hand.
Okay. All right. I'll call for a vote.
Director Pick,
Yes.
Director Plavel,
Yes,
Director Malloy,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gibson.
Yes. Okay, moving on to regular agenda action item I2, resolution amending the resolution, wait a minute, resolution 1839, a resolution amending resolution 1824 and approving the amended capital budget program CIP budget of the MPAD district for fiscal year ending 2023.
This resolution would amend the capital purpose program to reflect the actions it's taken. Air project and painting, so we reduced the amount in the painting. We created a new project that would involve that would give us a line item in the budget to work with to provide some level of cover in one area and further upgrades and terminal building. All of this is anticipatory of the increased traffic we could see with the upgrade of American Airlines aircraft, which starts on the 3rd of February.
Okay. That it?
Yeah, it was, so you'll notice again that we've added 2 projects in here, both in red. We've added project 2023-08, the Southeast Hangar relocation project that was just approved. And we added enhanced project description under the 2023-07 to include those hold room passenger flow upgrades as discussed.
Okay. Questions from the board? None? Director Miller?
I have none.
Dr. Peck?
No.
And Director Leppel?
No, I'm good with this.
Okay. I'm good with it too. I'm a little confused though. Have we picked a contractor already for this? Are we approving implementation and going forward on this project? And I'm talking about the hold room deal.
No.
No, you are not. You're not approving the project at all. You're simply creating a line item in the capital improvements budget so that can bring you something when we're prepared.
Oh, okay, all right. So a contract is yet to come. Okay. And this is just strictly technical, but we're amending the existing but a line item in the capital budget. One that says paint the building, and now we're amending it to say we're also going to build hold room or refurbish the hold rooms or whatever we're doing down there.
In essence, what is happening here is you're reducing the amount in the budget line item
Yeah.
to reflect the painting that you just put. So instead of 345, it's at 160. We created 2 new projects. As Ron just indicated, that are yet to be contracted, but it's a procedural thing so that we can bring you those as budgeted items.
Okay, and I'm just trying to get clear in my own mind. We had an existing project budget line item. And are we eliminating that line item and replacing it with this new line item or just amending the?
We're amending.
You see that 325
Well,
to 160.
it's staying as the same project. It's 325, but we've just added the second line item of the West Hold Room passenger.
Okay, so it's the same CIP or same capital budget line item, and we're just amending
The description.
the description under there. Okay, it's not really 2 separate projects. It's just we're
You're
adding additional information. Okay. That clarifies it for me, and the contract, when it's ready, will come back to the board. Is that clear? Okay. All right.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the capital amended budget as presented.
Okay,
Second.
got it. And Luffel motion, Miller second. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Public comment.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. Any public comment on this, the agenda item I2? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Director Vick,
Yes.
Director Lapel,
Yes,
Director Miller.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, the regular agenda action items are complete. We can go to board and committee reports and acceptance of departmental reports. And how about a standing committee report? From, I guess we have nothing. Did we actually have an air service meeting?
We did.
We did.
You want to do
Yes,
finance?
let's do, we'll do finance last, air service, marketing, community relations.
You want to go ahead?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the Air Services Committee met. We discussed concerns with Fare Watch, with some of our fares being cheaper from San Jose than Monterey. Staff continues to watch that going forward. Employments are strong. Our inaugural A319 American Airlines flight will be on, that's public, right? Right. It will be on February 3rd and we're planning an event around that, I think, some kind of. Okay.
Is somebody talking?
Mike is talking, Marianne.
I can't hear a word.
I
All right.
apologize. My microphone was off. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, good. We're gonna delay the celebration of the upgrade of American Airlines flight from February 3rd, which would compete with the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, to February 9th, the following Thursday. So more to come on that, but it would be around the afternoon flight. So keep your time open from noon to, oh, I don't know, 2 o'clock.
On which day? Sorry,
February 3rd or
Okay.
February 9th. Yeah, February 9th.
February 9th. No, got it. Okay, that's great news. Mike, was the possible March service something public?
It probably shouldn't. No.
Okay. Some potential future service. And then I would just close with the there were a number of complaints. The number was increased over last year. Last year was almost zero, if I remember right, and we had several that were dealt with by the staff well. And then we had two comments, and this is in the packet. One excellent, talking about the well-maintained airport and good travel experience. And then the other was involved TSA and staff approach TSA regarding the handling of a what do you call it? Service dog, a service animal. And that is my report, Chair.
Okay.
Pending anything Carl may add.
Just maybe the emplanements. You had mentioned, was it 225,000? What was our emplanements for last year?
228,000.
Which is a
And
good number considering we have less seats in the market now.
we do. We have significantly less seats. We're running a higher load factor. We're running in the 80 to 85% load factor across the board. Comparable 228,000 and change last year versus 2019, which was 231. So 231 was the highest that we've seen in the past 10 years. So we're getting close to eclipsing that. And with some help from our airline partners, we'll do that this year.
Good. And the Fair Watch, that was primarily for Alaska.
Yeah, we've noticed fares between Monterey and Seattle and Monterey and San Diego creep up. We did a comparison between on the same carrier to out of San Jose. Noticed that we've gotten a little askew in pricing. So we've had those conversations with principals at Alaska. We'll have a continuing conversation on this Friday, and then we will be hosting some folks from Alaska during the Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Good. So and the one that really surprised me was it's like $258 to fly to San Diego, but to fly to Newark, New Jersey, it's almost the same thing. What's happening in Newark that we've got to subsidize people to go there? I don't know. But I mean, it was hard to, you hear dynamic pricing, but when you see that, you really can't wrap your head around it.
They're just trying to build up tourism in Newark.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an uphill battle.
Yeah, no kidding.
And that's for Monterey.
It was.
Good, a little bit over $200 to fly from Monterey to Newark. It was just amazing.
Good. Okay. Any more?
No.
Okay, I have a question of the committee. I noticed in our board packet, there was a comment about Alaska Airlines reducing the frequency down to only 4 days a week to Seattle and San Diego. Did you
Yeah.
talk about that?
We did, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that appears to be temporary. We were noticed on that and they pulled down to four flights a week. And with the intent to bring that back in March, bring back full schedule in March.
Do you think that golf thing will get them to return these flights a little sooner?
Well,
I'm sure.
let me go to work on that.
Yeah, well, it's quid pro quo time, so, and the other question I had of the committee was, I'm a little concerned that we only getting 2 comments, from the passengers in the terminal. One of them is totally irrelevant to the airport here. I haven't seen these new machines. I guess they're a little where passengers can leave their comments. I haven't seen them yet, but is this working? I mean, I'm surprised. We used to get more comments when people had to fill out paper and than we are getting right now.
It varies. We do not have the machines. If you went to a conference, came back with information. We approached that company. That company is no longer in business.
Okay,
We are using the QR codes, which we've talked about.
I guess that's the electronic thing I'm talking
Yeah,
about, the
okay.
QR codes. All right,
Okay.
but doesn't seem to be eliciting much
It
in the way of
varies.
response.
Sometimes we'll get 6 or 5 or 6. Sometimes we get 2. This month we only got 2.
Well, the only suggestion I would offer as one director is maybe we could make, solicit their input. I don't know whether to say, please leave us your comment, whatever, at that QR code thing. And not having seen it, I'm not sure what I'm talking about. Is there a
Okay.
way to enhance it so we get their comments?
For your purposes, when you leave today, instead of turning left, go to the parking lot, turn right, and at the end of the wall on the other side of the hall, you'll see our logo board,
Yeah,
and that's what we're using.
that's
There are
it.
several-
There's just one place in
No,
the,
there are
oh,
several.
there's several around the terminal.
Correct.
Okay. Well, anything we can do to elicit more comments. I mean, I'm getting bombarded personally on my personal email. Everybody wants my comments on how was the service and all that. So I think it's totally within the realm of possibility that we get more comments. But thank you, committee. And moving on, we have, yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Did I miss you? Did I miss you, Mary Ann?
you did, but I'll forgive you.
Well, thanks. I see Hal's name up there and I keep forgetting you're actually here. Go
That's what
ahead.
happens after 56 years of marriage, you're interchangeable.
I hope
I have
not.
a question on JSX. I looked last week and I did not see us anywhere on their schedule. Have we heard anything about them coming back?
No, when they left, they told us they would be back in the spring. We have had no communication with them since.
Would you initiate that?
It would be my pleasure.
Because I was surprised. I was gonna book myself a flight and couldn't find it. And then a couple people have asked me and I was like, I don't know, it's not there, so. And I see they're adding things all over the place, but they have not put us back. So
We'll have that
Well-
communication.
that was my question, Mr. Chair.
Oh, thank you. Well, moving along here, I guess we have the property development and lease group committee didn't meet. Is that-
We did meet, but it was a committee of one. Director Sani was out of town. We primarily talked about the lease hangar. That was all of our efforts. I don't think we discussed anything else really it may have been in
No.
general terms, but nothing for further discussion.
We gave you a quick update on the status of the car rental concession agreements. We've now had one car rental say that they're ready to sign, so I think the rest will come shortly.
Was that Hertz? Like you
was
said,
Hertz.
we had a comment from Hertz. So
We did. We resolved that. We have a telephone call tomorrow that should get us to the end of the discussion.
And if you remember, the issue was that we are raising the minimum from 1,000 to 10,000, correct?
There is an issue, they had a question about the increase in the minimum annual guarantee. That did go based on the numbers that you just articulated. What I represented to them and indicated to them was that even at that level of MAG, their payment to the airport based on the percentage is always much greater than that $10,000.
Even during the pandemic, when no one was renting cars, they
Well,
were
I think-
still,
yeah.
their percentage was still higher, so.
Yeah, it was. And even though we at that point, the board chose to waive the MAG, payment of the MAG, they still paid us more than $10,000 even during pandemic. So we've resolved that issue. We have a call tomorrow. There's one issue clarification for them on square footage in the agreement, and then they're ready to sign.
Yeah, that was, like I said, most of the time was spent talking about the hangar transfer and going
Okay.
over that.
Mary Ann, you got any questions of the committee?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
Mr. Peck, I have a question. Why are we increasing the MAG for the rental car companies? That's question one. Question two, is the delay in signing the revised agreement on the part of the other car rental companies related to us raising that minimum guarantee?
We had this conversation in a general meeting and we approved it, didn't we?
Correct.
So, I mean, it wasn't staff came to us with a recommendation that we had approved.
Right. That
Well, I forgot. Why
Yeah.
are we raising the minimum
is
guarantee?
$1,000 a month is minuscule in terms of a minimum guarantee for the activities that they're doing. Each one of them is doing over $1.3 million a year in business. So it's not out of the question to say your annual guarantee to the airport district needs to be higher. $10,000 still stays below their average payment to the airport district on a monthly basis. So it's just adjusting to currency.
Okay. The second question was, are any of the other rental car agencies balking at signing on for an expanded?
We've heard
MAG?
nothing from them, but if it follows true to what they've done in the past, Hertz is usually, I'll use the term lead dog.
Yeah,
They go out and they're the ones that take the lead on any discussions, and then the rest follow behind. So we're anticipating that, but we've had no feedback from any of the others yet.
okay. All right. I don't have anybody got anything else? Okay. Moving along to the standing committee, budget and finance. You got anything you'd like to share, Mary Ann?
No, I think the numbers look solid. It'll be interesting to see what they look like coming out of January with all of the inclement weather, but we seem to be holding our own.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
I raised a few questions at the finance committee meeting about what the reason for the reduction in landings were and all that. That was kind of addressed in our air services as well. Let's see, and then I requested that we give serious consideration to separating any discussions of general aviation, separate heavy general aviation from light general aviation, even in the narratives. And then on our cash, I made the observation that we appear to be we have $15 million in unrestricted cash, and a good portion of that is invested with the local agency investment fund, which is a state-run operation. They're paying about 1.3%. Federal funds now are running about 4% on a three-month term, so I raised the question, why don't we try to get greater investment return interest on it, and to the tune of increase, it's about a $42,000 a year difference in interest, Fed funds versus the LAIF. We don't know why the LAIF is down so low on their interest rates, but they are down low. I asked a question about public relations. The budget item went quite a bit over budget. It was just 1 month, but you indicated, Mike, that there was going to be some information about why there was so much more public relations expenditure in December or
Yeah,
or
what I
November.
told you was that there was a report, and I believe we provided that. Did that get
That's
distributed?
that's the
That's that.
quarterly PR report.
There will be a monthly PR report. This is
monthly.
the first one, and then a quarterly visit.
Okay,
So the visit will happen in March. You'll get the monthly report that you just got. It will be refined a little bit. I'm not entirely happy with how it's presented, so we'll.
yeah, it didn't answer. I looked at the public relations report, and then I was rather, it was nice to get it, but I didn't really see any indication of what we spent that exceeded our normal budget for the month. 1 month is not a big deal, but
I think, Director, the biggest portion of that increase was the cost of the service with Chidlaw Marketing.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the biggest.
so it's good. That's an
That's the biggest-
ongoing thing every month.
Every month you'll have that. Yeah.
Okay, and I asked a question about the infrastructure grant, and I guess we've used up all of our infrastructure grants. What was the answer to that question? I said, are we in line for any more infrastructure grants? And I can't remember what the answer was.
Okay, we haven't used up our infrastructure grant monies. If we're talking about the same thing, I think what you were referring to is the CARES Act funds. And we have 1.6
Well, no, I was
million left.
really referring to what the latest Biden thing was about.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it had to do with rebuilding roads and stuff like.
Bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Yeah,
That was announced in the past month, and that was some great work by our PR team to get the coverage that we got. Those monies will be kept in abeyance. We'll continue to accumulate those. Those are entitlement monies. You're going to get about the bipartisan infrastructure bill is a 5-year bill. You're going to get about $2 million a year in entitlement monies out of that program, which totals $10 million. Our intent, and we've talked about this, was that $10 million would be thrown into the kitty, if you will, for the terminal building. So you've got $20 million in AIP. That's the cap that we can use for a terminal building in AIP, and then 10 million from the bipartisan infrastructure bill. So you've got, in essence, $30 million towards your terminal building and grant funds.
is there any more to come, do you think?
After that, it's.
And I'm talking about that
Yes.
infrastructure.
I think there is some potential. We're going after some discretionary funding from the infrastructure bill. We have an application into Department of Transportation for $10 million out of that discretionary pot of money. It's competitive. We think we stand pretty well, but we haven't been notified. No one's been notified that we're aware of any awards yet.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. For the record, let it be known that Director Pick is leaving the board, and we still have a quorum at this point. So thank you for that explanation. I couldn't remember what was said. My head was exploding by that time, And so I suggested, I guess, just to reiterate a little bit, my concern about the LAIF versus treasury bond funds. I suggested that we look into revising our investment policy or our investment practices, at least in the short, for the short term, if not the long term. And so I think you kind of agreed, Mark, to look into that a little bit. Okay. So that's all we have on the finance committee, and ad hoc committee,
Meeting.
local jurisdiction, no meetings. LAFCO. Marion, anything? on
We are
LAFCO?
meeting, we're meeting on Monday evening,
Okay,
so I have nothing to report.
okay. And how about regional taxi?
We will not meet until July, I believe.
Okay, transportation agency for Monterey County, Tampsey. They had a meeting on 9th of December. It didn't have anything of substance into it. It was mostly awards and recognition for safe streets and all that. And so nothing that really involved the airport. I anticipate that that will change now, now that they're going back to a regular schedule. I think there will be some more things that involve the airport. Special Districts Association liaison, are you that person?
It's the Director Leffel, but the meeting was canceled for the 20th of this month. So next one is in April, Marianne?
That is correct. All of our newly elected officials were busy learning their new jobs, and none of them were available for speaking.
Or at least to us.
What is the date of the next April Special Districts Association meeting? Do you know, Marianne?
It's the third Tuesday in April. Let me see, that will be the 18th.
Okay, thank you. April 18th. All right. And then AMBAG, our representative is not in attendance today. Do you know of anything that went on at AMBAG? Did she report anything to you?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I'm not following MPAD any longer.
I know,
so-
I'm the backup
alternate.
and
No, I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe their meeting was canceled.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
I think it was canceled. Okay, we're done with any member of the public want to comment on committee reports? Okay, having said that, I don't hear anything. We'll move along to board and committee reports and acceptance of departmental reports. Okay.
We've already done that, Mr. Chair.
Future attendance.
Oh.
Future agenda items.
Oh, see, I'm new at this.
Oh, you'll pick in, you'll get it.
I'm trying to follow your tutelage here, as far as departmental reports, I guess, what did I have? I had the Alaska Airlines business, and there was something about the police department. I can't find my notes. There was something in the police report here
They
that
were investigating the catalytic converter theft.
yeah, that was it. The catalytic. I'm a little concerned about that. I mean, this came up before in a previous board meeting, but our security on this RV business, that RV lot, is there any way that, are there any plans to improve our security here so that we provide more service to our RV lot patrons?
This is the first time since I've been here that we've had a break-in in the RV lot. So I think our security is pretty good. The investigation is ongoing, so we probably shouldn't talk much about it in a public meeting. But I can tell you that this was not the only place that this kind of activity occurred. We were one of several. So more to come as the investigation wraps up.
Okay, well, I think we improved some new monitoring cameras and stuff like that.
That was not for this area.
That wouldn't cover this
No,
area.
those are security related cameras, security defined with the big S, And that revolves around the terminal activities
Yeah.
and the airfield. It does not provide that coverage.
Okay,
You did comment, though, that they are expending a good deal of resources to investigate this, and
I
you were
did in-
pleased with that.
You bet. I did indicate that Delray Oaks is taking this very seriously and they are doing their investigation and it's pretty thorough.
the Delray Oaks Police Department.
Correct.
Okay, all right, having said that, pending requests for future agenda items, you got any, Mary Ann, you got any, future agenda item requests?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay, Carl?
None for me.
Okay, I don't have any that I can think of right now. Discussion of future agendas, any comments on that? No, and,
Adjournment.
any public comments before we wrap up here? Nope, apparently none. No hands raised. We'll adjourn. Do we need a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
We're adjourned.